10 terrifying curses that shook history. Let's start with the most chilling curses in history, and slowly work our way toward the ones that haunted generations. The crying boy painting curse. In the 1980s, firefighters across Britain noticed something disturbing. House after house went up in flames, but one item always survived: a cheap, mass-produced painting of a young boy with tears streaming down his face. The crying boy painting became infamous. Owners swore it brought misfortune, financial ruin, illness, accidents, and death. The strangest detail? Whenever a home burned to the ground, the painting was found intact among the ashes. Word spread quickly. Newspapers ran headlines calling it the cursed painting. Terrified families rushed to destroy their copies, but when one paper organized a mass bonfire to burn hundreds of them, the paintings wouldn't catch fire. To this day, no one knows why these prints resisted flames. Some say it was just the varnish. Others believe the crying boy carried a curse that fed on tragedy, and fire was its way of finding it. Number 9. The curse of the Bassano vase. In 15th century Italy, a silver vase was crafted as a wedding gift, but the bride never lived to enjoy it. On her wedding night, she clutched the vase tightly as she died suddenly, her last words a warning to leave it buried forever. But centuries later, the vase resurfaced. Whoever possessed it died violently. A local priest who inherited it, dead within weeks. A young man who received it as a family heirloom, gone before he turned 30. Eventually it became too dangerous. Police confiscated the vase, but even they refused to keep it in evidence. Rumor has it, the vase was sealed inside a lead coffin and buried deep underground, hidden away so no one would ever touch it again. And yet, whispers remain. What if someone digs it back up?
Number 8.
The Hope Diamond Curse. The Hope Diamond is breathtaking, 45 carats of deep blue brilliance, but behind its beauty is a trail of blood. Legend says it was stolen from a sacred statue in India, torn from the forehead of a Hindu goddess. From then on, disaster followed everyone who wore it. A French merchant who brought it to Europe, mauled to death by wild dogs. Princess de Lamballe, who wore it at Versailles, torn apart by a mob during the French Revolution. A Turkish sultan who claimed it, deposed from his throne. Even American socialite Evelyn Walsh McLean, who loved the diamond, suffered relentless tragedy. Her son died in a car crash, her daughter overdosed, and her husband abandoned her. Today, the diamond rests safely in the Smithsonian, but visitors sometimes whisper that bad luck still clings to anyone foolish enough to touch the glass. Number 7. The Kennedy Curse. For over a century, America's most famous family has been stalked by tragedy. Joseph Kennedy Jr., the heir, killed in a plane explosion during World War II. John F. Kennedy, assassinated in 1963. Robert Kennedy, assassinated in 1964. 1968. JFK Jr., killed in a plane crash in 1999. Accidents, assassinations, drownings, overdoses. Misfortune has haunted the Kennedy name for generations. Some believe it's political destiny. Others whisper of an old family curse. Even today, new generations of Kennedys aren't free from disaster, and the question lingers: can the most powerful family in America ever escape the shadow of their curse? Number 6. The Curse of Timur's Tomb. In 1941, Soviet archaeologists unearthed the tomb of Timur, the 14th century conqueror who built a vast empire in Central Asia. Inside, they found a chilling inscription carved into stone. "Whoever disturbs my tomb will unleash an invader more terrible than I." The Soviets dismissed it as superstition. They opened the tomb. 2 days later, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history. Millions would die as Nazi armies stormed across the Soviet Union. Years later, when Timur's remains were finally reburied with full Islamic rites, the tide of the war shifted. Was it coincidence, or had Timur's warning been real? Number 5. The Curse of Tutankhamun. In 1922, Howard Carter's team discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun, the boy king of Egypt. But before long, the curse of the pharaoh began its deadly work. Lord Carnarvon, who financed the dig, died just weeks later, killed by a mosquito bite that turned septic. At that exact moment, the lights in Cairo went out, and his dog, far away in England, howled and dropped dead. Dozens of others connected to the excavation soon followed. Strange fevers, accidents, sudden collapses. Within a decade, people began to whisper that Tutankhamun's warning had come true. Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king's peace. Even today, some Egyptologists refuse to enter certain sealed tombs, because sometimes history doesn't forget. Number 4. The Curse of Ötzi the Iceman. In 1991, hikers in the Alps discovered a frozen corpse emerging from the ice. He was over 5,000 years old, the oldest natural mummy ever found. He became known as Ötzi. But soon, the people connected to him began dying. The man who found him? Buried in an avalanche. The archaeologist who examined him? Fatal car crash. A researcher studying him? Dropped dead in the middle of a lecture. In just 13 years, 7 people directly linked to Ötzi's discovery died suddenly. Some dismissed it as coincidence. Others believed Ötzi carried a curse, punishing anyone who disturbed his icy grave. And here's the chilling part. Ötzi was found with an arrow wound and evidence of violent death. Was he murdered and cursed to take revenge forever? Number 3. The Terracotta Army Curse. In 1974, farmers in Jiyan, China, unearthed one of history's greatest wonders, the Terracotta Army, thousands of life-sized soldiers buried with Emperor Qin Shi Huang. At first, the discovery seemed like a miracle, but then misfortunes struck. The farmers who found it lost their land, were forced into poverty, and many died destitute. Local officials who tried to profit from the site faced scandal, disgrace, or sudden death. Ancient records warned of traps, mercury rivers, and curses protecting the emperor's tomb. To this day, the central chamber has never been opened, not because scientists can't, but because they fear what might happen if they do. Number 2. The Curse of the Pan American Flight, 914. In 1955, Pan Am Flight 914 took off from New York and vanished without a trace. It reappeared in Caracas, Venezuela, 37 years later. According to local reports, the plane landed, the pilot radioed confusion, and then it took off again, disappearing into the clouds. For years, rumors spread that the plane was cursed, trapped in some kind of time loop, forever flying, never able to land. Passengers vanished from history, their families left without answers. Was it mass hysteria, a hoax, or something far stranger? To this day, no wreckage has ever been found. Number 1. The Curse of the Chillingham Castle. Deep in Northumberland, England, stands Chillingham Castle, one of the most haunted castles in the world. For centuries, it was home to torture chambers, executions, and endless bloodshed. But with its violent history came something darker. Visitors report screams echoing through empty halls, a blue boy apparition crying in the night, sudden drops in temperature, shadows moving in torchlight, and those who dared to mock the stories have paid the price. One skeptic stayed the night alone. He was found the next morning, trembling, unable to speak, and never the same again. Chillingham is more than just a haunted castle. It's a curse, passed down through every soul unlucky enough to cross its gates. Outro. From cursed diamonds to haunted tombs, these stories remind us that history isn't always silent. Sometimes, the past refuses to stay buried. Thank you for watching. Make sure like and subscribe channel. See you guys in next video.